and wrapped it around my waist, pulling me in from behind in a way that felt far too close to an embrace. His energy washed over me all at once, and my legs nearly gave out.
Help. He is so close. He is so warm. This is going to drown me. Those shoulders, that waist, right here, within reach. I want to push him back against this mirror, tear that suit off him, and make him lose every bit of that perfect control.
I'm a starving succubus who survives on men's desire, but I just woke up in modern New York, where everyone acts like wanting someone is a crime. I got fired and nearly arrested just for touching a coworker's abs. Desperate for energy, I hide myself in the most boring black suit I can find and interview to become the personal assistant to Ethan Frost, New York's coldest, most untouchable billionaire suit. The moment I see him, every filthy instinct wakes up. I want to ruin him with my mouth, from those cold lips down his chest until I'm wrapped around his thick, throbbing cock, sucking him dry and breaking his perfect control. Suddenly, Ethan snaps his pen clean in half. He stares at me, jaw tight, voice rough.
You're hired.
He can hear every filthy thought in my head. I'm Jade Summers. 1 second I was the most seductive succubus in the abyss, drunk on desire and raw sexual energy. The next, I blinked and found myself dumped on a crowded street in New York City. This place is insane. The whole city reeks of lust, yet everyone struts around acting like they're above it, preaching self-control, purity, and proper behavior. A few days ago I was so starved I could barely hold my human shape. All I did was run my hand over my coworker's abs to steal a little energy, and I got dragged into HR, publicly fired for sexual harassment, and almost arrested. No legal identity here means I starve. End of story. So I squeezed myself into the most buttoned-up black blazer I could find, every button fastened tight to my throat, and walked into Frost Capital, one of Manhattan's most cutthroat firms, for a personal secretary interview. The man interviewing me was the one who runs everything, Ethan Frost. Everyone called him untouchable, cold, privileged, disciplined to the bone. A man so controlled that women could throw themselves at him all night and he would not even blink. But the moment I stepped into his office, a thick wave of pure, scorching masculine energy slammed into me. My succubus instincts went feral.
Oh my God. Look at those broad shoulders, that tight waist, those powerful thighs. Those dress pants are stretched so obscenely I can see the outline of every inch. I bet he's thick, heavy, and perfect. I wonder how long this tightly wound ice prince can keep his control before he snaps. I want to shove him back onto that desk, tear that expensive suit off him, and ride him raw until he's shaking and begging.
I was deep in that filthy fantasy when a loud snap cracked through the room. Ethan's luxury pen broke in half, black ink spilling over his fingers. He slowly lifted his gaze. Those cold, dark eyes pinned me like a predator. His voice came out low, rough, and dangerously controlled. He paused, jaw tight, eyes burning with something dark and volatile.
Jade Summers. You're hired.
I stood there, completely stunned. He really just hired me, after I had mentally stripped him naked and imagined riding him senseless? Not that I was complaining. This job gave me legitimate, daily access to the most powerful source of energy I had ever felt. I had barely stepped out of his office when Victoria, the senior director, cornered me in the hallway. She looked at me like I was something filthy that had just crawled in off the street. She marched up in her sharp heels and shoved my shoulder hard.
Button that collar all the way up. If I ever see you throwing yourself at Mr. Frost, you won't even make it through tomorrow. Do you understand me?
I let myself stumble back and quickly put on my most innocent, obedient face.
Of course, Director. I'll be completely professional.
But inside, my succubus side was burning with contempt.
Throwing myself at him? Please. You look at him like you own him. You have no idea how good it feels to be flooded with that kind of raw, masculine energy. It would probably kill you. A body like his deserves to be claimed every single day. I want to wrap myself around him, drain him with my mouth and hands until he has nothing left to give.
A heavy footstep sounded behind me. Ethan stood just a few feet away in his perfectly tailored black suit, his presence filling the hallway. His dark, intense eyes were locked directly on my face. Victoria spun around instantly, flashing a sweet, adoring smile.
Mr. Frost! I was just giving the new assistant some orientation on proper office standards, making sure the wrong kind of woman doesn't cause you any problems.
Ethan ignored her completely. His gaze never left me. I watched his throat tighten as he swallowed slowly, something dark and heated flashing in his eyes. His voice came out low and commanding.
Coffee. Now.
5 minutes later, I walked into the CEO's office with a cup of black coffee. The second I stepped through the door, that devastating masculine energy wrapped around me again, hot and clean and way too close. It clung to my skin like a second layer. Ethan was leaning back in his chair, reviewing documents like nothing in the world could shake him. Shirt buttoned, tie straight, face cold enough to freeze over hell, but my eyes had no loyalty to my brain. They kept drifting lower, straight to the tight stretch of his dress pants.
That energy is so thick and pure it's making me dizzy. The way those pants hug him should be illegal. If he ever let loose on me, he would completely wreck me. God, I was so busy staring that I completely missed the vase beside me. My heel caught the edge of it and rolled. I lost my balance and pitched forward straight into him. The entire cup of scalding coffee splashed across his lap. Every single drop. A low, ragged groan tore out of him. The documents in his hand scattered all over the floor. My soul nearly left my body. I scrambled up, grabbed the tissue box off his desk, and started frantically dabbing at his thighs. Mr. Frost, I'm so sorry. Please don't move. I'll clean it up.
The second my fingers pressed against the soaked fabric, I froze. Even through the thin material, the heat under my hand was overwhelming. Hard, tense, very, very alive. My fingers started to shake.
Wait, is he getting hard? God, he's huge. Ugh, I just want to rip these pants open and put my mouth onto his monstrous cock.
Ethan's hand, which had been reaching for the tissues, stopped dead in midair. For one terrifying second, the whole office went silent. Then his large, burning hand came down on my lower back. He seized me and pulled me hard against his chest. My breath caught. His body was solid against mine, his breath hot and uneven on my face. That perfect frozen composure finally cracked, and what leaked through was dark, hungry, and dangerous. His voice dropped low.
You really can't stop looking there, can you?
His voice was low against my ear, and that thick, impossible bulge pressing against me was impossible to ignore. My succubus control was hanging by a thread. This man was playing dirty, and the worst part was, I was almost sure he knew it. I swallowed hard, my whole body going soft against him. My arms slid around his neck before my brain could stop them. I leaned in, lips parting, the tip of my tongue just barely brushing out. 1 more inch. Just one. Then the memory hit me like a fire alarm. HR dragging me out of my last job in front of everyone. Security watching me like I was dangerous. The threat of handcuffs, police, and a permanent record, all because I touched a coworker's abs when I was starving. My blood went cold. This was not some random office. This was the CEO's office in New York. And this was Ethan Frost, one of the most powerful men in the country. Throwing myself at him was not a cute little workplace mistake. This could destroy my life. All my succubus confidence disappeared in an instant. Well, I came here to survive, not to end up in prison. I shoved him back with a sudden burst of strength, slipped out of his arms, and dropped hard onto the floor.
Mr. Frost, I'm so sorry. I swear I'm a respectable woman. I just slipped, that's all. I wasn't trying anything. Please don't call the police. I'm not some kind of predator.
I fumbled with the door, yanked it open, and ran. But as the door swung shut behind me, I caught one last glimpse through the narrow crack. The famously celibate, untouchable Ice Prince was still standing exactly where I had left him. His shirt was wrinkled. His breathing was rough. His hands were empty, like he had not expected me to escape. And the look in his eyes was not anger. It was hunger, the kind that made my knees weak even from the other side of the door. That afternoon, I went to the break room to get some water and calm myself down. The coffee disaster was still replaying in my head, along with Ethan's hand on my waist, his rough breathing, and the way he had looked at me before I ran. I needed water, possibly an exorcism. The second I turned around, Victoria was walking straight toward me with a full basin of ice water in her hands. She stopped right in front of me, a small, vicious smile tugging at her lips. Then she let her foot slip on purpose. The entire basin came crashing down over me. Ice water soaked through my thin white blouse in seconds. The fabric turned almost transparent, clinging to every curve and leaving far too much on display. Co-workers rushed over from every direction.
Seriously? She wore that under a white blower? That is not exactly office appropriate. I'm not surprised. She walked into Mr. Frost's office for her interview and came out hired. Connect the dots. And now she's acting shocked people are staring? Please, you don't dress like that by accident.
Victoria stood at the front of the crowd, savoring every second of my humiliation. Her voice was sweet, but every word was meant to cut.
Everyone seeing this? Our new secretary shows up on day 1 with lingerie under a white blouse and expects us to believe she is here for spreadsheets?
I hugged my soaked blouse to my chest, shivering.
This is Frost Capital, not some club bathroom. I'm reporting you to HR myself. Enjoy your last day.
I lowered my eyes, looking weak and humiliated. Inside I was burning.
Get me fired? Go ahead and try. If Ethan sees me like this, he won't be able to look away for days. This body was made to drive a man like him wild. I could wrap myself around him and drain every last drop he has. You're nothing compared to that.
Victoria took my silence for fear and reached for my wet collar.
What, nothing to say now? You were so good at playing innocent earlier. Come on, let everyone see what kind of professional you really are.
The crowd suddenly went silent.
What is going on here?
One low, cutting voice was enough to freeze the entire break room. Everyone fell silent and stepped aside at once. Ethan walked in. His gaze landed on my soaked, almost transparent blouse. For one long second, he said nothing. His jaw tightened and his throat moved once hard. Those eyes, usually cold enough to keep the whole office at a distance, darkened the moment they saw me.
Mr. Frost, look at her. I don't know what kind of stunt she pulled to end up like this, but she's been standing here, putting herself on display and trying to make everyone uncomfortable.
Ethan did not even look at her. He shrugged off his jacket, still warm and carrying that clean cedar scent, then stepped in front of me and wrapped it around my shoulders. The jacket swallowed me almost completely, cutting off every stare in the room. The second his warmth touched my skin, that rich, dangerous energy of his rolled over me. My knees nearly gave out right there. Without a word, he took my wrist and led me out of the break room. No one dared to stop him. The moment we reached his office, he pushed the door open with one hard motion and pulled me inside. Then he locked it. The click of the lock went straight through me. Every bit of suppressed succubus instinct I had been trying to bury came roaring back to life.
A locked door. Just the two of us. Oh, I know exactly where this is going. He is going to push me against that floor-to-ceiling window, tear off this ruined blouse, use that tie to trap my wrists, and punish me until I forget how to stand. Yes, Daddy. Punish me like I'm a bad girl.
Ethan stopped. His back went rigid. For a moment, the office was so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat. Then a vein jumped at his temple and he took one slow breath like he was trying very hard not to lose control. When he turned around, his expression had gone dangerously still. The next second he crossed the room, caught me by the waist, and backed me against the window. His hands landed on either side of my head, caging me in completely. The glass was cold against my back. He was burning hot in front of me. His voice came out low, restrained, and rough around the edges.
What exactly goes on in that little head of yours all day, Jade?
Pinned against the window by a man that tall, that close, and that intense, I pulled my shoulders in and gave him my best helpless, wide-eyed look.
Mr. Frost, I wasn't thinking anything. I was just scared after getting soaked like that.
Ethan let out a low, cold laugh. His fingers closed around my jaw and tilted my face up. His breath brushed over my lips, warm and dangerously uneven. He did not answer me. Instead, his other hand went to his tie. He pulled it loose in one slow, deliberate motion like he had all the time in the world. Then he dropped it onto the desk. My pulse jumped. Then he undid the top 2 buttons of his shirt. That collarbone, that shadow beneath the open fabric, that hard, controlled body he kept locked away under expensive suits every single day. He stepped right into my line of sight and stayed there. This man was baiting me on purpose. I stared at his open collar and swallowed hard. My traitorous hand started rising on its own, reaching for that warm, firm chest like I had no survival instincts at all.
Screw it. He started this. Just touching him would be worth it.
My fingertips were one breath away from touching him. Then the alarm in my head screamed. Flashing lights, cold handcuffs, iron bars, a full criminal case with my name on it. Getting fired for touching a coworker's abs was bad enough. Putting my hands on the CEO of Frost Capital, that was a life sentence in heels. Self-preservation kicked in. I snatched my hand back, ducked under his arm, and slipped away.
Mr. Frost, my eyes are closed. I didn't see anything. Please keep your shirt on. I have absolutely zero inappropriate thoughts about you.
I spun toward the door and got my hand on the lock. But before I could turn it, a rush of cedar and heat swept over me from behind. Ethan was suddenly there, his shirt still undone, one hand braced against the door, trapping me in place. His chest pressed close against my back, and his breath brushed over my ear.
Zero inappropriate thoughts?
His voice was low and rough, with an edge that left no room to hide. His fingers found my jaw from behind and turned my head, forcing my gaze back to the open stretch of his shirt and everything it revealed.
How disappointing. I have plenty of dirty thoughts about you, Jade Summers.
That line, spoken from that close, nearly made my succubus tail come out. I stood trapped between the door and his heat, completely unable to move. Just when I thought he was about to forget every last bit of restraint and do something about it right there in his office, the pressure suddenly lifted. He reached into the pocket of the jacket wrapped around me and slipped in a black and gold invitation card, along with a handwritten note.
Tomorrow night's finance charity gala. You're attending as my executive advisor. Go to this address today and get a gown.
By the time I made it back to my desk, the note was still warm in my palm. The next evening, a black Maybach pulled up smoothly in front of an elite boutique on Fifth Avenue. The store manager had clearly been briefed in advance and met us at the door with a polished, professional smile.
Miss Summers, right this way, to the fitting area.
She looped the tape around my chest, then drew it in at my waist. A second later, she gasped.
Good Lord, Miss Summers. These measurements are unreal. This kind of figure comes along once in a lifetime.
She immediately pulled out a red gown. Deep V neckline, open back, a slit that started high on the thigh.
I recommend this one. Wear this tonight, and you'll be the best thing that ever happened to Frost Capital's public image.
I stared at that gorgeous, barely there piece of fabric, and my succubus instinct sat straight up.
With this body in that dress? Absolutely lethal. So that is why he kept looking at me like that yesterday. He has been wanting to see me in this all along. Fine, I'll wear it to the gala and watch his eyes drop straight to my neckline. That will be entirely his fault.
Then the memory of being trapped against the door last night came back in full detail, and my survival instinct seized the wheel. Well, low profile, boring. If he lost control in front of everyone at the gala, I would lose the job and then I would starve. I backed away from the dress like it had personally threatened me, both hands clamped to my collar.
No, absolutely not. High neck, long sleeves, ankle length if possible. I am a professional.
The words had barely left my mouth when a quiet, unmistakably amused laugh came from just outside the heavy fitting room curtain. Ethan had appeared on the other side, perfectly dressed, perfectly composed, and somehow right there. He glanced at the manager, his expression unreadable.
Give us a moment.
The manager blinked, bowed, and quickly slipped out. Ethan walked into the fitting area and picked up the red gown. The heavy curtain swept shut behind him. Now it was just the two of us in a very small space. The air seemed to thicken. He moved toward me one step at a time, his tall frame carrying the full weight of his presence, until my back pressed against the full-length mirror.
Mr. Frost, what are you doing?
I swallowed hard. My palms were damp. Ethan set the gown aside and picked up the measuring tape.
Drop straight to your neckline?
I leaned unsteadily against the mirror and stared at him. How was he hearing every single thought in real time, even the ones from yesterday? He did not give me a second to figure it out. He spread his arms with the tape between them and wrapped it around my waist, pulling me in from behind in a way that felt far too close to an embrace. His energy washed over me all at once, and my legs nearly gave out.
Help. He is so close. He is so warm. This is going to drown me. Those shoulders, that waist, right here, within reach. I want to push him back against this mirror, tear that suit off him, and make him lose every bit of that perfect control.
Ethan's breathing changed. He dipped his head, his lips only a breath from my ear, and his voice came out low enough to make my knees weaken.
Jade, let me find out for myself exactly how extraordinary you are.
His hand moved slowly up my back. The other cradled the back of my head. His face tilted closer, and his lips were 1 second away from mine. 1 second before contact, the coward in me took over. I dropped, tried to slip under his arm, and aimed for the narrow gap beside him. This time he did not let me get away. His arm caught my waist and pulled me back hard against him. For a second, my feet left the floor and my back hit the mirror with a low, solid sound. His chest was pressed against mine with no space between us at all. Those dark eyes were done pretending. Every bit of restraint he had been wearing like a second suit was gone. His voice came out rough and absolute.
Stop thinking about ruining me, and then running the second things get real.
His grip tightened at my waist, firm enough to make it clear that this time he was not letting me slip away.
Jade, you are wearing that red dress to the gala tonight.
His eyes moved over my face, then lowered briefly to the gown beside us.
Because right now, I want to see you in it.
I ran, but it did not matter. That night at the charity gala, I was still wearing the red dress Ethan had personally approved. The venue was all crystal chandeliers, champagne towers, and people pretending they were not staring. We had barely made it through the entrance when Victoria appeared with a glass of wine and a sweet, innocent smile.
Miss Summers, Mr. Frost left a backup document in the storage room at the end of the hall. Be useful and go get it, for him.
I was lightheaded with hunger and too distracted to think clearly, so I went. The moment I stepped through the old wooden door, the lock clicked shut from the outside. Heels clicked away into silence. Victoria, obviously. The storage room had no windows and no ventilation. It was dark, cramped, and sweltering, like I had been sealed inside an oven. In that kind of heat, with my body already starving, my succubus instincts kicked into full overdrive. The hunger rose from somewhere deep inside me, burning through my veins, turning my legs weak. All I could think about was the fitting room, Ethan's arms around my waist, his breath at my ear, that clean, intoxicating energy pouring off him and sinking into my skin.
I just need him to hold me right now. That's it. Just hold me. If he came through that door and completely took me over, I don't know how much longer I can hold back.
The lock turned again. A dark silhouette slipped inside and shut the door behind him. Then he locked it again. My breath caught.
How long are you going to keep driving me crazy like this, Jade?
Mr. Frost? How did you get in here? I didn't do anything. I didn't even say anything.
You didn't have to. Every single word.
He moved closer. That overwhelming heat rolled over me, rich and controlled and dangerous. His hand pressed to the wall beside my head, and he backed me into it with his body without ever fully touching where he should not. In the dark, he leaned down until his nose almost brushed mine. His voice was low, rough, and far too steady. Then he repeated my own thoughts back to me, word for word, calm and merciless.
I couldn't stop imagining Ethan's thick cock pushing against my pussy. Jade Summers, you've been undressing me in your head every day since the interview. Did you really think I couldn't hear you?
Wait, don't swipe away. Here are 5 reasons you can't miss the rest. 1. Did Rosa fire Jacob just for smoking, or secret plot? 2. Who is Henry? Why take all credit? 3. What's on Jacob's USB drive? 4. Will Jacob take blame for the car crash? 5. How will he revenge 10 years of betrayal? Twists get wilder. Head back to homepage for all episodes.